In this lesson, we're going to be discussing multiplying fractions, or multiplying rational numbers. When you multiply rational numbers, some of your steps are similar to adding and subtracting rational numbers. To begin with, you want to write all of your mixed numbers as improper fractions, just as you do with adding and subtracting. Step 2, we're going to omit for now. We're going to wait to simplify at the end of the problem. Once all of your fractions are written as improper fractions, you are then going to multiply your numerators together and then multiply your denominators together. Finally, you're going to simplify if needed. Let's take a look at a few examples. Number 1, we're multiplying 2 times negative 7/9. First, we need to make sure that our numbers are written as improper or proper fractions. Our first number of 2 is a whole number, so we need to write that whole number as a fraction. And remember, to write whole numbers as fractions, we put it over 1. So 2 over 1 times negative 7/9. Now that I'm dealing with proper and improper fractions, I'm going to multiply my numerator, 2 times negative 7, times my denominator, 1 times 9. And I'm going to pull this problem down here so I have a little bit more room. Two times negative 7 is negative 14. Because remember, a positive times a negative is a negative. And then 1 times 9 is 9. From here, you want to check to see if you can simplify. 14 over 9 cannot be simplified. However, it can be written as a mixed number. Writing it as a mixed number does not change the fact that it's negative. 9 will go into 14 one time, with 5 left over, and your denominator of 9 stays the same. So your answer as an improper fraction is negative 14/9, or as a mixed number, negative 1 5/9. Number 2. First, we need to make sure that we're dealing with all proper and improper fractions. Our first number is a mixed number, so we need to rewrite that as an improper fraction. Remember, to rewrite it as an improper fraction, we multiply our denominator times our whole number plus our numerator. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8 over 7 times 1/10. Now I can multiply my numerators, 8 times 1, and then my denominators, 7 times 10. Again, bringing my problem over here so I have more room to work. 8 times 1 is 8. 7 times 10 is 70. Eight over 70 can be simplified. 2 will divide evenly into both of those. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 70 divided by 2 is 35. So we have a final answer of 4 over 35. Number 3. First, we want to make sure that all of our fractions are proper or improper. Both of these fractions are mixed numbers, so we need to rewrite both of them as improper fractions. Remember, rewriting a number as an improper fraction does not change the fact that it's negative. So our first number would be negative 5/3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Times negative 5/3. From here, I can multiply my numerator times my numerator, negative 5 times negative 5, and my denominator times my denominator, 3 times 3. Negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25, because remember, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 3 times 3 is 9. 25 over 9 cannot be simplified, but it can be written as a mixed number. So we can keep our answer as 25 over 9, or 9 will go into 25 2 times with 7 left over, and our denominator stays 9. So our answer is 25 ninths, or 2 7/9. Go ahead and highlight number 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to look at number 8 with you. Number 8. First, we want to make sure that all of our fractions are proper or improper fractions. And as you can see, the second fraction needs to be rewritten. Our first fraction is going to stay negative 1/2 times 1 4/5 as an improper fraction is 9/5. Remember, with multiplying, we don't have to have a common denominator, so from here, we can multiply straight across. Multiplying our numerators, negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. Multiplying our denominators, 2 times 5 is 10. Negative 9/10 cannot be simplified or written as a mixed number, so that is our final answer. Go ahead and highlight 9 through 12. And let's take a look at a couple of word problems. Number 13. Nikki just exercised for 180 minutes. 3/5 of those minutes were spent running. How many minutes did she spend running? When we're reading this problem and we see 3/5 of, that word of is very important. That word of tells us that we are multiplying. We're multiplying 180 times 3/5. So like in the problem we looked at above, we want to change 180 to 180 over 1 times 3/5. Then we can multiply our numerators together, 180 times 3. And if you need to, you can come to the side and multiply that out. We don't want to use a calculator for this part. And we get 900. And then multiplying our denominators, 1 times 5 is 5. From here, 900 over 5 can be simplified. 5 will divide evenly into both of those. To know how many times 5 will go into 900, come over to your side. 5 will go into 9 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract and get 4 and bring down your 0. 5 will go into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract, bring down your last 0, and 5 goes into 0 0 times. So 900 divided by 5 is 180. And then 5 divided by 5 is 1. So 180 over 1 is 180. Next, number 14. One batch of cookies requires 2 2/3 cup of sugar. How much sugar does Angela need if she wants to make 1 1/2 batches? Again, this is a multiplication problem. For one batch of cookies, she needs 2 2/3 cup of sugar. But for 1 1/2 batches, we would need to multiply 2 2/3 times 1 1/2. Number 15. When she got in the car to drive to work, Mia had 11 1/2 gallons of gas in her tank. If she used 1/8 of the gas in her tank to get to work, how much gas did she have left? So in this problem, this is a two-step problem. So first, you would need to multiply 11.5 times 1/8. That's going to tell you how much gas she used. Then you are going to subtract 11.5 minus that answer you got in your first step. Remember, when you do this subtraction part, you need to make sure that you have a common denominator when subtracting. Number 16. What is the area of a triangle that has a base of 8 inches and a height of 3 2/5 inches? So for this problem, you have to know the area formula of a triangle. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 times your base times your height. So for this problem, you're going to multiply 1/2 times 8 times 3 2/5. Now when you're multiplying this, remember when we multiply, it doesn't matter the order we multiply in. So I would recommend multiplying the 8 times 1/2 and then that times 3 2/5. Now let's take a look back at number 13 because I think I made a mistake. When solving number 13, when you multiply your numerators, I multiply 8 times 3. Over here on the side, I accidentally multiplied 180 times 5. So we're going to go back and look at that again. So we want to do 180 times 3, not 180 times 5. So 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 8 is 24, 3 times 1 plus 2 is 5. So instead of 900 here, I should have 540 in my numerator. And that would change this to 540. And I still have a common multiple that 5 will go into both of those. But we want to redo our division for that numerator. So 5 into 540. It's 1. 1 times 5 is 5. We get 0. Bring down your 4. 5 goes into 4 0 times. And then 5 goes into 48 times. So that's 108 over 1, which is 108. 108. Sorry about that. I hope you caught that before I did. So if you will highlight number 14, 15, and 16.